It wasn't just a music movement, it actually had a whole philosophy behind it and about creation and how it comes out of chaos and a dress code to go with it, really. It was an extraordinary force in all our lives at the time, I think, that whether you became a punk or not, and it just liberated you from what you were destined to be, I think. It sort of gave you a kind of freedom. They just broke something. And they didn't have anything positive to suggest to put in its place, apart from just do it yourself, or waste your life if you want. That option was open to you as well. But they broke that pattern that you were meant to follow. And literally since then, I don't think we have changed. I don't think we have stepped back into what the 70s were like, which were grim. One of the problems is explaining to these young actors what the 70s was like. And when they said there was no stimulation of any kind. There was
so grey, wasn't it?
Oh my God, it was awful.
It was
Looking
black.
back,
It was...
play one chord, play another chord, form a band. That was one of the sayings at the time, wasn't it? And I think it was because it was about what you had to say, not about the techniques and whether you were qualified. That was one of the biggest things about it. And what's extraordinary about them as a group, I think, is firstly, they weren't hypocrites. They actually stood there and took the abuse. Because they handed the abuse out, they stood there and took it back again. But also, they were unqualified. And they said, you don't have to be qualified. Don't let people exclude you from life because you lack qualifications. Because none of them were qualified. Steve was illiterate. I mean, he literally couldn't read and write. And there's a very tender scene where Chrissie Hynde sort of discovers what he's hiding from the world, that he can't read and write, really. And they were saying, but they said, that doesn't exclude you from having something to say. And that then they channeled this anger and this fury at the establishment and at the way the 70s society was stultifying through the music.